Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a great thing. President Trump isn't going to take it anymore. 2 years of a probe that said that he was working with Putin to buy Facebook ads and hack the DNC, which never happened. 2 years of just nonstop torment. People on the left, they're like, oh, well, he's a bully. He deserves all of this. He's just his personality so belligerent. Well, he was set up and framed, and he fought back. So they're like, well, he fought back. He obstructed justice. Andrew McCabe's under criminal investigation. James Baker is under criminal investigation. Peter Strzok literally stated, we will stop Trump and we have an insurance policy. James Comey leaked classified memos, which is against the law. And he also lied under oath numerous times. The FISA warrants were obtained by deceiving FISA judges, which is against the law. We can go on. The whole thing was unlawful, filled with criminal acts. And the difference between Bernard Sanders and Trump is that Trump fights back. He's not going to take it anymore. So Trump Organization and family sued Deutsche Bank and Capital One to block congressional subpoenas. This is really, really interesting. President Trump and his family, as well as the Trump Organization, filed a suit against one of their lenders and one of their banks late Monday, seeking to stop them from complying with subpoenas for congressional committees. Now, these congressional committees want his taxes and they want his finances only because they failed in setting him up with Trump Russia. They haven't actually stated there is this specific venture where President Trump inflated his net worth or lied on applications or whatever. They haven't actually picked, so they don't really have a scandal yet, but they're sure going to try to find one. Democrats are interesting. If you were to say, hey, we should investigate, well, there are ongoing investigations right now that predate even President Trump's administration, but if you were to say, yeah, you know what, the Clinton Foundation is a money laundering scheme, and you should investigate the fact that Uranium One gave millions of dollars into the Clinton Foundation, and then Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin, according to Newsweek and The Hill, at his home. All of these issues you should investigate because 85 donors gave $156 million and then met with Clinton. There are weapons deals issues. There are all these issues. UBS, Boeing gave money, then they got hooked up. They would say, how dare you? You can't do that. There's nothing to assume that there was a pay-to-play scheme. You can't prove, just causation doesn't, correlation does not equate to causation. Causation should not equate to correlation. They'll go on and on forever. With Trump, it's like, well, why do you want to investigate him? Well, we just do because we have to. They don't even have an actual reason. They just want to torment him. They just need to just go after him for some reason because, gosh dang it, you know what? He's a really bad guy. So the lawsuit against Deutsche Bank, which loaned Trump more than $360 million in recent years, and Capital One are designed to prevent the two institutions from providing records to the House Intelligence and Financial Services Committees. And when have you ever heard this? When have you ever heard Congress demanding that banks, where are the congressional panels going into all the institutions? Well, like UBS, for example. UBS gave money to the Clinton Foundation. The IRS wanted 4,000 people, and because for tax evasion and other things, and then they only got 500. And Clinton hooked them up. This is a huge, huge scandal. Where's the congressional panel look into that? Where's the congressional panel to look into William D. Campbell, who actually stated Russian lobbyists were bragging about their influence over the Clinton Foundation? William D. Campbell, yes, actual, And then the rebuttal is, well, that's just his opinion, or you can't. There's not corroborated by fact. It was just what he testified. Where are the facts? How do you back up his claims? Clinton just read a ridiculous quote attributed to Trump. A ridiculous quote, okay, that says, I'm really, I'm effed, according to his, like, one of Sessions' staff member at the Justice Department. Oh, I'm really effed when this goes down. My presidency is over. It doesn't even sound like Trump, but they're taking it as fact. Comey's memos, they take it as fact. So the standard by which they judge everyone else, and this is all Clinton running. She's running. She'll announce probably June or when, like, who knows when she'll announce. But she's running again. But I'll just read you. So they attribute phony quotes to Trump. They have fabricated investigations. They have investigations before even crimes. Like, before even, like, any allegation of a specific pay-to-play scheme, like with the endless pay-to-play schemes with the Clinton Foundation, it's just unbelievable. They go after Trump just because his name is Trump. And the left is like, well, his name is Trump. The panels are led by who? Oh, Adam Schiff and Maxine Waters. Gosh, that's interesting. The filings made late Monday in the United States District Court for Southern District of New York claims that the subpoenas were filed to harass the president. Good. It's true. They're trying to harass him. And look, just because he's a billionaire, just because he is president, just because his personality is viewed to be belligerent, he's the one who's viewed to be a bully. Actually, they're trying to bully him. I mean, at a certain point, you do have to fight back. Ask Bernie Sanders, who didn't fight back. You have Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House, who waged the DNC fraud lawsuit. They were fighting back on behalf of Bernie Sanders voters, not Bernie. Bernie just actually continued the myth that said that he and Jill Stein were part of a Russian plot. Okay, and a man I consider a hero, a guy who was very heroic, Julian Assange, fights back. Now, it's so bizarre. Like, there's one person on Twitter who was like, oh yeah, H.A. Goodman said he wasn't going to be a Trump supporter if Assange was extradited. And I'm like, no, he hasn't been extradited yet, so I don't know why you would bring that up. And then if President Trump caused more conflicts, no, I guess he's continuing things that Obama started, which is bad, but he's far less interventionist. He's not an interventionist, sorry, and he hasn't engaged in any, he hasn't toppled any dictators like Obama did in Libya to destroy that country. And gosh, like, he's presiding over peace between North and South, the beginning of peace between North and South Korea, and he's bringing home Americans from conflict. And he doesn't want, that was an Obama-era indictment fueled by disdain for Assange from the left. So why would I remove my support for Trump, who said that he loved Julian Assange and WikiLeaks? Why would I do that? Now, if there was actual extradition, then that's a different story. Then I don't think that Trump would even win the election. But it's like, it's interesting. People still, like, there are people like I've written 3 articles, 2 in the Daily Caller, 1 in the Times of Israel. Actually, more than that, numerous articles in defense of Assange, that he should be pardoned, that President Trump should pardon him, all of these things. It's like, but then still you got people, their main focus generally is that they don't want Trump supporters to be Trump supporters. Not so much based on moral issues. But anyway, that's a whole other story. I like people who fight back. I like people who... and by the way, who do you think is going up against Clapper, Brennan, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, all of these people? All of these people, the same people. It's Trump. He's the only political figure going directly square up against them. All the Democrats have tried to cozy up with them. And now they're realizing that Rod Rosenstein, and so Rod Rosenstein today is, he resigned, which is fantastic, which basically is the end of the line. It's the end of the line for all the nonsense. This is the same guy who began the Mueller probe, started it, worked with Andrew McCabe to try to utilize the 25th Amendment and tape Trump and wear a wire. But he was lucky. He was lucky. President Trump needed him. William Barr needed him. Now he's pretty much evaded all the consequences of his actions. Now everyone else is going to get it. And I explain in my Federalist articles below. Check them out there in the pinned comment. Share them everywhere. So, this is interesting. No grounds exist to establish any purpose other than a political one, the lawsuit asserts. It's true. It's true. They're not in the same league as Trump in terms of, like, if you don't have the Mueller probe, a special counsel, Trump will easily defend against any congressional subpoenas, all of these things, because they're not based on any national security consideration. They're really not. They're not based on any national security concerns. They're not. You know, they're not based on, hey, you know, like, what are we going to do? This is really bad for the country. We need to find this out. This is a huge scandal. It's not like $10 billion stolen from Haiti. Or a weapons deal scandal where countries give to the Clinton Foundation, they get exponentially greater weapons deals. Even the same countries that, now Democrats are like, oh yeah, this country's engaging in conflict. And, well, you know what? Under Clinton and Obama, it was all good. In a joint statement, Trump's lawyers called the subpoenas unlawful and illegitimate. Every citizen should be concerned about the sweeping lawless invasion of privacy. We look forward to vindicating our client's rights in this matter. It's a meritless... Okay, so, like... Oh, yeah. They have no reason, the lawsuit filed today by President Trump, to block a duly authorized subpoena. No, it's not. By Democrats, they'll subpoena anything. They will demand anything from Trump because they couldn't find Trump-Russia collusion. They couldn't find collusion. There's no collusion at all. No collusion, no collusion. Oh, I love this. Lie 10,000 is a real whopper. Oh, okay, so the Washington Post has documented 10,000 lies. Most of these lies are differences of opinion or, like just minute, like you can multiply any of those, you can multiply the tally times 10. And that's what the Clintons, that's what Hillary is spouted over the years. They actually wrote in the New York Times why Clinton needs to be two-faced. So, in a statement, a Deutsche Bank spokesman said, "We remain committed to providing appropriate information to all authorized investigations and will abide by a court order regarding such investigations." Capital One didn't immediately return a request for comment. Well, you know what? Let's see. Clinton gets money from all of these people, so you just got sued. You're probably not... They're probably like, don't worry, Democrats that we've given money to, we'll help you out. Legal experts that the Washington Post have spoken to that are Democrats said that Trump's arguments rely on outdated precedents and that courts may be unwilling to stand in the way of congressional oversight. Congressional oversight for what? For what? If you are just harassing somebody for political purposes and you intimidate a bank or a lending company and you say, well, you know what? We want all this person's records. You better give it, because his name is Trump and he's bad and we know that he's bad. But if nothing else, they could delay the committee's investigations into Trump's finances and business dealings. For what purpose? When was the last time you heard, like, okay, in terms of being, an unethical billionaire, fine, you could say, like, he's engaged in business practices Deals haven't worked out. But like that's different from a criminal behavior. That's different from a money laundering racket, which is what the Clinton Foundation is. That's different from utilizing your post as a government official. It's different from a private server where you have top secret and special access program intelligence illegally transferred onto servers, and you delete 33,000 emails because they're pay-to-play schemes, which is what I explain. But her top secret emails and but her deleted emails. What do you think is on those servers? Yoga emails and wedding planning? Of course not. You just happen to have a Clinton Foundation that continually takes in money from all these places. So, in a statement, Deutsche Bank spokeswoman, we remain committed to providing appropriate information to all authorized investigations and will abide by a court order regarding such investigations. Well, you're going to wait for the court order because you're getting sued by Trump. So, that's that. That's that. I mean, it's unbelievable how Democrats go seamlessly from Trump worked with Russia to not only Trump worked with Russia, he obstructed the investigation into allegations he worked with Russia, to Trump's taxes, his taxes. He's done a lot of bad things with taxes. Meanwhile, the IRS, the U.S. government has them. It's like suddenly, not only are they like secret spy agents, they then become accountants. Now then, from CPAs and accountants, they then become bank executives. Then from bank executives, they're like these sleuths that are finding out, really bad business endeavors. They have no clue what they're doing other than they know they want to go after Trump. If they had gone after Clinton, this is just, let's just look at really quickly. Atlantic, Clinton, UBS, IRS. Okay. How Hillary Clinton helped UBS avoid the IRS. And then it funneled, okay, how Hillary helps a bank and then it funnels millions to the Clintons. This is in the Atlantic, but it's about a Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal's eyebrow-raising story of how the presidential candidate and her husband accepted cash from UBS without any regard for the appearance of impropriety that it created. This is overt pay-to-play, illegal, racketeering, just criminal behavior. The Swiss bank UBS is one of the biggest, most powerful financial institutions in the world. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton intervened to help it out with the IRS. Gee, I wonder why. After that, the Swiss bank paid Bill Clinton $1.5 million for speaking gigs. Oh, that's just that was just a coincidence. The Wall Street Journal reported all that and more Thursday in an article highlights the huge conflicts of interest the Clintons have created in recent past. Then when you ask AOC, she's like, emoluments? The emoluments? It's like, okay, read this. A few weeks after Hillary Clinton was sworn in as Secretary of State in early 2009, she was summoned to Geneva by her Swiss counterparts to discuss an urgent matter. The IRS was suing UBS, literally suing UBS to get the identities of Americans with secret accounts. If the case proceeded, Switzerland's largest bank would face an impossible choice: violate Swiss secrecy laws by handing over the names, or refuse and face criminal charges in a U.S. federal court. Within months, Mrs. Clinton announced a tentative legal settlement, an unusual intervention by a top U.S. diplomat. UBS turned over the information on 4,450 accounts, a fraction of the 52,000 sought by the IRS. So I got the numbers wrong in terms of that. But that is a fraction. They wanted 52,000 people. She hooked up almost certainly all her donors or people that she knew, which probably is not far from the actual number here. So only 4,000 accounts out of 52,000 were seen. Okay, well, there you go. And there you go. She's going to run again. She's going to run again. And when she does, it's going to be amazing. It'll vindicate everything I've ever said. I was right about the Mueller nonsense from day one. I was right in 2015 when I said Clinton would lose. I had the pulse of what was going on, and I was right that she committed crimes. James Baker, the top FBI legal counsel, Comey's legal counsel, agreed with me, as did Lisa Page, the wonderful Lisa Page of Peter Strzok fame. And I'm telling you, I mean, I have the pulse of what's going on. If you listen to this channel for 2 years plus and even longer, you realize that when everyone was saying one thing, I was oftentimes saying the complete opposite. And I had sources, public record evidence to back it up. And I ended up being either 100% right, or I had the pulse of what's going on. And it was like, Bernie Sanders was cheated, never fought back, but he would have won a fair primary. James Baker, the top FBI legal counsel, Lisa Page, wanted to indict Clinton. There wasn't a unanimous decision. Comey lied under oath. But yeah, she committed crimes. She was a criminal. I was right about that. There are people on the left who relish the fact that there was a cover-up. They also just gleefully look at they fabricated all these crimes, look, with Trump. And then they're upset now that Rod Rosenstein didn't, they found nothing. They don't like William Barr and Rosenstein, and they want to go back to the days where it was like every day, worked with Putin. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. He is suing banks and lending companies to prevent Democrats from harassing him, and God bless President Trump. More power to him. There needs to be more people like Trump. There needs to be more people like Trump in politics. You cannot. This is different from destroying BlackBerries and wiping servers. That's obstruction of justice. Not, Trump said this to McGahn. Oh, big deal. Who cares? Trump said he was going to do this. That's not obstruction. That's ridiculous. And if they just treated Clinton the way they treat Trump, it's like you would find a mountain of evidence of wrongdoing, but they don't want to do that. It's a naked, overt, just power grab that they're losing. They're constantly losing. Give me your thoughts below. My Patreon is below. If you want to support my voice long term, it's greatly appreciated. That's in the pinned comment. And share my writing in the Federalist, the Jerusalem Post, and the Daily Caller in the pinned comment. Thank you.